Watercolour paper is the most important supply when it comes to this kind of painting, and it cannot be stressed enough. I have done many videos on here about watercolour paper, but when I started noticing the art community on the internet, people in the comments below my videos, blog posts were saying this was the watercolour paper to end all other watercolour papers, and I had never even heard of it. Well, I don't know whether I'm late to the party, but I had to see it with my own eyes. And why is watercolour paper so important anyway? Hello, my name is Fiona Di Pinto and this is Drawings in a Drawer. On this channel we discuss everything watercolour and actually a lot more. So if that is something that you'd like to see and hear more of, be sure to click on that notification bell so you won't miss any of my weekly uploads. And now let's jump right into it. So here it is a Saunders Waterford paper made by St Cuthbert's Mill in England. It is a block which is glued on 4 sides, and here I will show you how to peel away that top sheet, which is there as a protection to the first actual sheet of 100% cotton watercolour paper. So you just slip a letter opener or even something like a butter knife into that little opening on the inner side and gently work your way around the sheet till it falls away. And the moment that happened, my first thought is, oh no, this looks too textured. You can see quite well that it seems to be on the grainy side, and I am quite fussy when it comes to paper having too much tooth to it. That's probably because I tend to like a more illustrative and storybook look, and too much bumpiness can get in the way of that. Here I am comparing my go-to cold press paper, which is Arches, to the Saunders Waterford to observe the differences in the surface, and I think they are quite visible. Definitely less, it's a finer grain. Arches is a finer grain, and this one, let's say the little bumps on it are slightly larger and more spaced out. That's what I would say. But nevertheless, we're here to give it a try, so let's be unbiased and let's give it a try. Oh, wait a minute, where's my sketch? I always repeat this because not everyone knows, but cold press paper, which is sometimes called knot, N-O-T, as you saw on the cover of the Saunders, is textured and more or less so according to different brands, while hot press paper is like it's been ironed flat. It's just the way they are moulded, I would almost say. I gravitate towards hot press paper more often than not, but there are certain advantages to painting on cold pressed, and the first one being that it is generally more forgiving than hot press paper. Still, I have to get my feel of a paper, and I really started noticing what the hype was all about quite a way into my painting process. Watercolour paper is the most important supply when you paint with this medium because the paint and water need to be absorbed evenly so that we don't get patches. The paper needs to be strong enough so that it won't buckle, peel, rip, and sometimes downright disintegrate as the watercolour makes it soggy and the first layers turn into pulp. If you've painted long enough on cellulose paper or regular sketchbook paper, you will have noticed all of the above. Artist grade watercolour paper is made and treated in a certain way that will avoid the unpleasant experiences that take away from the beauty and the joy one can feel when painting with aquarelle. It's not only how thick or heavy the paper is that is a factor, but how it's sized, which is when a substance, usually gelatin or starch, is used on the surface or throughout the whole sheet to make it suitable. This means the paint and water won't sink in too quickly or at different rates. I think that puts into focus why we really need to put our pennies towards this supply as a priority if we are serious or semi-serious about our watercolour journey. And remember that buying individual sheets rather than a full-blown block and painting on both sides is a cheaper option to try artist grade watercolour paper, which is what I did in the beginning, using masking tape to get it to adhere to my desk or workspace on all 4 sides so that it wouldn't buckle. I've switched to a horizontal position for my block of watercolour paper again because I was getting a strange sheen from the light shining on the paper when I had it in that kind of almost vertical position on my easel. But what I will do is I will position this block under the watercolor paper block, just so that I have a little bit of a tilt. I think that really helps when you're painting with watercolor. And yes, I'll show you what it looks like. I'm a creature of habit and I tend to be adverse to change, which I can guarantee you does me no favours. However, I had to admit that the texture of this paper is visually, let's say, somewhat deceptive, deceiving. It seems bumpier than ash, but it is not. And the difference lies in the fact that it feels much softer, even to the touch, I later noticed. And even while painting, you just feel the texture less. And after I'd finished this, I also found out that Saunders Waterford's attractive surface is created using natural woolen felts, to give it a distinctive random texture, and each sheet is buffered with calcium carbonate to prevent finished pieces from discoloration caused by acids present in pollution. Well, that was quite a mouthful and it all sounds very fancy, but I have to say I do like the fact that packaging itself offers so much information about the product. I'm going to take this small window of time to tell you that if you'd like to support my work as an artist and engage with me and others, we have an amazing art community with several monthly live sketching and painting sessions, as well as dozens of recorded tutorials. Joining the community will really empower your artistic voice, help you hone your skills and find your style alongside like-minded people. I will leave everything in the description box for you to check out if you're interested. And now let's go on with the video. I find that if one is frustrated with their watercolour painting, in 90% of cases it's either the sketch that's the problem or it's the paper. Both are the foundation we start building our work on, so they have to be solid. Today we are talking about paper, and I have already said how crucial it is to have the kind that is meant for watercolour, and that kind will always say it's 100% on the cover. Usually if it doesn't say that, it's either a mix or it's cellulose, and you want to stay away from that paper unless it's for swatching or doing that kind of thing. I wouldn't even practice on it because you're just placing an unnecessary obstacle in front of yourself in your watercolour journey, one that painting with artist grade paper would not have you face. So I quite honestly don't see the point. But that's just my opinion, and if for some reason that is all you can get your hands on, don't let it stop you from painting, but do know that if you notice something is not working, it's not you, it's the paper. Now, is this the best watercolour paper I have painted on? Up till now, I have to grade my papers as most surprising, Bao Hong hot press student grade, which is still 100% cotton and gives such a polished and smooth result that you cannot not be surprised when it's student grade. And most luxurious and well made, I would definitely have the Saunders Waterford paper up there. It unglued really easily, whereas Bao Hong's glue is a bit less easy to remove and can stick to the side of the sheets. And of course, they're this beautiful, soft texture that really doesn't get in the way of your painting experience at all. I would say this is the cashmere of watercolour papers. So if you're looking for a good cold press paper, this is definitely one that I would probably put even a little higher up than ash. It's really fine quality, and you can tell if you don't mind the texture of the paper being a bit more visible than it is on hot press paper, then go for it. My exploration of watercolour papers will continue. I love to test new papers also because I find this pushes my style and allows gentle shifts that I can then incorporate into my work. And since, as I said, I am adverse to change, this gives me an easy nudge in the right direction. If you've watched this video all the way through, thank you so much. It probably means you really like watercolour or are really curious about it. Either way, I think you should start painting, or if you already are, you should try and find the time to do it as often as you can, because it's a calling. And I think you are very lucky to have it, as I consider myself lucky to feel this need to express myself and having found such a beautiful way to do so. Don't allow anyone from your past to say you weren't good enough, and more than anyone, don't allow yourself to say that either. Thank you so very much for being here. I appreciate every comment, every like, and every share, and I will see you all next Sunday. Bye.